You're listening to Making Money Online with Lisa Johnson, the podcast that tells you what it really takes to build a business and the simple steps to get you there. I'm determined to share with you the reality of easy, simple business marketing tips to make passive income so that you can start making money online. If you want to be as visible as possible right now, then you know that PR is the best way to maximize your credibility and expertise. Our sponsor, former journalist and PR expert Nicola Rowley, is hosting a free 4-day From Incognito to Interviewed PR challenge starting on Monday, the 17th of October at 10 a.m. BST. This challenge is for you if you want to know how to get started with PR, how to harness publicity to help cement your expert status or drive sales in your business, and how to start feeling more confident to put yourself forward for opportunities. You can sign up now at go.njrpr.com/challenge. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. My voice is a bit croaky today, but I'm going to do this anyway. This is the second part of our 3-part book series that we're doing to celebrate the fact that my book is coming out, and also because I want to help you guys to write your books as well, which is why we've got the masterclass coming up on the 17th. But today I wanted to continue. Last week we talked about why sometimes you go down the traditional route, sometimes you go down the self-publishing route, and how there's that kind of hybrid in between that we help with as well. But today I wanted to talk about what my book is actually about, because people talk about, I've got a book coming out, and often I don't know what the book is going to be about. I know what they do, but not necessarily what the book will be about. So I wanted to talk to you about, why I even decided to write it, because there's so many business books out there. So when it came to actually writing my book, I'd actually said no for 2 years. Someone had suggested it to me about 2 years before and said, oh, you should write a book, because they liked the way that I wrote. And I said, I don't have anything to write a book on. There's so many books out there. Why would I just add by writing another book that's going to be the same as everybody else's? And unless it was going to be like really different to what was already out there, I didn't want to do it. But then it was actually me in that 2 years reading so many different business books. Like, I'm an avid reader. I read 2 to 3 books a week. And I was reading so many business books. I will admit that I don't finish business books very often. I kind of dip in and out to the bits I need. I'm not one of those people that have to read it from front to back. But I'd read a lot of them. And it was that made me actually want to write one. Because every time I was reading these books, and I read quite a lot that were in my niche, they were about the online industry. They were about passive or semi-passive income. But there were 3 issues that kept coming up when I was reading these business books. So the first one was, they all seem, as soon as it said passive income, they all seem to be about cryptocurrency or dropshipping. There didn't seem to be anything else about, courses, memberships, like passive and semi-passive income that everyone can do just using the knowledge in their head. Somebody once said to me, you need to write a book for Betty from Barnsley. And I didn't really know what they meant. And then over the years, I've come to understand, like, the average person sitting at home needs to be able to take my book and make money from it. It can't just be for people that are already, hugely successful in business. That isn't who I wanted to help with my first book. And every time I read a book, they were so complicated. Cryptocurrency, investing, drop shipping. Even I, who have been in business for 5 years, were reading these books going, oh, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do this. Like, all different types of trading. And it was kind of like, okay, there needs to be a business book out there for people who aren't at this stage in their journey. And it's still about passive or semi-passive income streams. The second thing was the ones that were there and talked about working less but earning more. They kind of told you why it was a good idea to make passive income. They went into some of the ways to do it. So they kind of listed ways to do it. A lot of it was on mindset. Actually, all of the books I read, 80% of it was on mindset. Even the books I love, if I think about it, they are very mindset based. you believing in yourself more and that kind of thing, rather than strategy based. There weren't many there that were around the strategy kind of angle. And that's definitely the angle I wanted to take. I wanted sort of how to do it. So these books would kind of tell you what to do, why you should do it, tell you about changing your mindset, but they didn't tell you how to make the money. So I wanted to give people a real step by step, like, this is how you make the money. This is how you have a passive income business or semi-passive income business. You take this step, then this step. A bit like I've always been like that in my courses. Like, people have always said to me, the reason we like doing your programs is because it's so step by step. Like, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, and then you get this result. I don't go off on tangents in my courses. It's very much like, I've always thought that you just give people the information they need to get the result they want. And I think what a lot of people do in courses and books actually is they want to show how much knowledge they have. So instead of leading people to the result that that person wants in the quickest, easiest way, they say, but look at all this knowledge I have. And they tell them everything that they know. And that doesn't help the person that's doing your course to tell them every single thing that you know, because it just kind of goes off on tangents. It makes people think, oh, well, what should I be doing then? There's all these different things. What should I do? And books are often like that. Like, I'll start reading and I'll think, okay, this is going to tell me how to grow an audience, for instance. And it will then just go off on a tangent about some complicated things about growing audiences that I don't need to know to get the result that I want. So with this book, I was like, okay, I'm just going to there needs to be a book that is step by step. And the third thing, and this is a weird one, but if you have a look out there, you will see every single time the book was about passive or semi-passive income, like not general business books, but it was niche to working smarter rather than harder. Every time they were written by a man. There were no female books out there on this subject. They were written by men. They often had a bit of a bro marketing kind of slant, that whole yeah, dude, then you can get your Lamborghini too. It's so different to anything that my audience would really care about. My audience is so different to that. They care about family. They care about spending more time with the people they love. And that's the reason generally that they want money, for opportunities to be able to do amazing things with the people they love. It's not really, I have a few people that obviously like the material things, and I like a few material things, but actually for me, everything is about experiences and how we can make memories doing these amazing, extraordinary things. And I think my audience likes that too. So these kind of books that are yeah, you can have this and show off this. It wasn't really the kind of thing they would read. So I was thinking, well, if there isn't really any females writing these books, there needs to be, because there needs to be someone that people can look up to and go, well, she made multi-millions of pounds and she's not pro-marketing. She made multi-millions of pounds and she did it with integrity. She did it and she still spends loads of time with her family. That's the point. I wanted someone to be able to see themselves in a book that I wrote. So I kind of decided, okay, that's a push. The time has come to write mine. So mostly I wanted it to be an actual step-by-step guide on what to do, but to make it more interesting, because I've read those step-by-step guides and it does need something to break it up. Otherwise it becomes a manual, and a manual isn't fun to read. So I wanted to add in some of the things in my life that have happened to me. I mean, even before I was in business and before I became a multimillionaire, people said to me, you should write a book. Some crazy things have happened in my life. And I barely touch on some of them in the book, but so many things have happened. I grew up a Mormon. I was bullied throughout my entire childhood. I grew up in poverty. I got a scholarship to a private school. I got on television in my 20s quite a lot. Lots of weird things have happened to me. I even won £28,000 on a game show once. Weird things have happened that probably wouldn't normally happen. I was married, days after my 18th birthday. So yeah, I kind of wanted some of that in there, but only if it was going to really show why what kind of shaped the decisions that I took in my life to get the business I've got. And I also wanted people to realize, as I always say, that it's the hard things in your life that actually make you really strong enough to succeed in business. Like, I believe that adversity can really push you to success. And so I didn't want it to be a book about like, oh, everything is perfect. Like, I wanted to show everyone the truth of things. So for instance, with the bullying at school, that kind of goes in there to show why I acted the ways I have done as an adult when I've been bullied online. I talk really openly in this book about some of the instances and some of the things that have happened to me online, how people treated me and how I coped with that, and how, you know, the reader can cope with that, because it's really important. I'm really transparent in the book. It's kind of a no holds barred account, but I wanted to be honest in case others go through similar things when they're reading the book, and they can go back to the book and go, well, what did Lisa do about this? You know, how did she feel? How did she deal with it? Because it's important. So yeah, it's written assuming someone doesn't even have a business yet. So completely from beginner stage onward, and reads a bit like, if you have ever read my Friday emails that I send out every Friday called the Friday one, it reads a bit like those. So it's like in my normal, just chatty style. I just wanted to make it as easy to follow as it could possibly be. What else is in there? We've put loads of original quotes in there. My husband, Sam, he's a copywriter. He makes up all of our quotes that you see on social media. Like, he sits there and he makes them up. He loves doing it. So it was really good to be able to use them in the book. And my copy editor kept writing back, you know, I'll tell you about the process next week, about what happens when you write a business book, like what actually happens from the moment that you get the deal. But one of the things you have is a copy editor. And she kept writing back saying, you need to credit who these quotes came from. And we were like, no, we don't. My husband wrote them. Like, people were going to need to credit me when they read the book and take the quotes, which is really good because most people use other people's quotes. But we actually had so many that were relevant to the chapters that we're writing, that were in there, that we were like, oh, well, we may as well use them. So the book is 9 chapters long, and I thought I would tell you the chapter headings. No one knows these yet, but I thought I'd tell you what they are. And these moved around a bit. I'll explain all that next week about how it happened, but they weren't linear. So chapter 1 is introducing passive income and the cash system. The cash system is my system. If you haven't heard about that, go to one of the very early chapters. Look, I'm talking in book speak already. One of the early episodes of the podcast where I talk about what the cash system is, or you can just read it in the book. The second chapter is about, it's basically called Passive and Semi-Passive Income Explained, and it goes in depth about what it is, what different types there are, all of that kind of thing. Number 3, chapter 3 is about why mindset matters. And we intentionally put this nearer the front of the book because that's how important it is. But we wanted to just give it a chapter. I wanted most of it to be on strategy. Chapter 4 is online memberships and courses. So then we dig deeper into the memberships and courses and what you need to do to get them going. Chapter 5 is about growing an engaged audience online because that's so important. It's the bit most people miss out. Chapter 6 is about becoming visible and how to deal with that. Chapter 7 is called Systems That Will Make Your Life Easier. And it does what it says on the tin. It's the chapter I think people go, oh, I don't like systems, but we've made it really easy. Chapter 8 is about how to successfully launch programs. And chapter 9 is called, this is my favorite chapter title, The Only Way is Ethics. Ethics. I thought I'd say that wrong when I told you, but I didn't. And that's about something that's like so important to me, which is the integrity of an online business and some of the things we're seeing out there that really shouldn't be out there and how you can do things differently. So the beginning of each chapter is a personal story or thing that happened to me. And there are case studies throughout the whole book as well. I loved putting people's case studies in there because it meant I was able to highlight some of the amazing people that I've got to work with that have really followed exactly what I've put in this book and made lots of money from it. And it was really good to be able to highlight that. And I've used their real names and everything. I haven't used everyone's real names in the whole book, but I'll talk about that next week when we go through the process. But talking of case studies, if you pre-order the book, so you can pre-order the book now, then you get lots of bonuses. And some of the bonuses that you get have been created by the people who were the case studies in the book. So we thought we'd make it all relevant. You can also win a one-to-one day with me by pre-ordering the book. Also, you can get, if you pre-order a certain amount of the book, you can get a one-to-one with me instead of having to buy one. And you can give all of those books to friends or clients or your audience. And you can also get tickets to the exclusive book launch party, which I'm very excited about, which we're organising now. So to pre-order the book, you can do that now. Just go to makingmoneyonlinebook.co. That's nice and easy, isn't it? makingmoneyonlinebook.co. And next week, I'm going to come back for part 3 of this book series and talk to you about the process, like how I got the book deal in the first place and the process of what happened then throughout the whole journey, because it was really interesting and I didn't know it beforehand. So I'm going to tell you about that. But I really hope you enjoy this book if you read it. I'm very excited about getting it out there into the world and having people see a bit deeper into who I am and the things that have happened to me. But I'll be back next week. Thank you for listening, and I will speak to you really soon. Thank you for listening to Making Money Online with Lisa Johnson. If you'd like to get hold of my guide to launching, go to lisajohnson.com/launch and let's get you making money online.